Emerson Cats, Mr. Stevens, back with you for this week's lecture. We're going to continue moving in our entrepreneurship management and leadership chapter and work through chapters 7 and 8 today and talk a little bit about business management and leadership. To start, let's take a look at what is a manager. A manager is simply defined as any professional within a business who assigns various tasks and objectives within that business. Notice that a manager is not someone of a certain gender or a certain age. It can be anybody within a business who is given the responsibility of assigning tasks and objectives within a business. Now, what does a manager actually do in a business? Well, their job really breaks down into four main functions. The first is called controlling. And the controlling function of a manager basically just means that the manager is keeping the company on track to meet goals and make sure that the business is following their mission and vision and doing what they say they're going to do. They have to lead. Managers have to inspire employees to perform. They have to motivate employees to do their best job possible. Additionally, they have to organize. They have to keep track of the various people, the various processes, and all of the equipment that would be found within a business. And then lastly, they have to plan. They have to create goals and objectives, and then they have to create plans on how they're actually going to reach those goals and objectives. So if you look at these four functions of management, they make an, I just lost the word. They make the first letters of the functions spell the word CLOP, C-L-O-P. And so you can remember those four functions if you can just remember the word CLOP. Now, the beauty of these functions is that they are not in any specific order, and managers do them all the time simultaneously. So you could really create any sort of order you wanted that would help you remember what the various functions of a manager are. Next, let's talk a little bit about the various levels of management. So within a business, you are typically going to have three main levels of businesses. The first is called a senior level manager. Senior level managers are responsible for the big picture items, goals, and strategies. These are often the executives of the company. So maybe the CEO, the chief executive officer, maybe a president or a vice president. The next level of management is what we call middle management. And these are the managers who are responsible for carrying out the strategies and the goals of the top managers. And then the last level of management is an operational manager. And these managers are responsible for the day-to-day operations of the business. They're the ones that we say are in the trenches, doing not only the managerial functions that we talked about on the previous slide, but they may also be doing day-to-day tasks within the business. If you think about like a Subway restaurant, the operational manager might be doing all the staffing, building all the scheduling, but they may also be on the line making sandwiches for customers. So the operational manager is really where most management positions start, and you gain experience, and then you kind of work your way up the ladder. I'm sure many of you have heard that saying before. You're climbing the corporate ladder. And basically what that means is you're just making your way from one level of manager to the next. Okay? Now, many times in businesses, we utilize what's called an organizational chart to graphically represent the various levels of managers. And so you can see here in your notes, I want you to draw this organizational chart for Fossil Ridge High School. I want you to draw these various bubbles. And then I want you to now pause this video, and I want you to take 2 minutes, and I want you to come up with who you think at Fossil Ridge High School is the senior level manager, who are the middle level managers, and who are the operational managers. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video, take 2 minutes, and fill that out in your notes. Okay, now that you've got that filled out in your notes, let's take a look and see what you came up with. The senior level manager at Fossil Ridge High School is Dr. Kaplan, our principal. Our middle managers are all of the various assistant principals that work within our school. That would be like Mr. Nye, Mr. Torvik. Those middle level managers are all of our assistant principals. And then the operational managers are all of the teachers, like myself, Mr. Menifee, Ms. Tebow. We're the ones in the trenches day to day, carrying out the objectives of Fossil Ridge High School, but also doing some tasks. We're in the classroom each day. So your organizational chart for Fossil Ridge should look something like this. Okay? Now, another thing that managers are very responsible for is the culture of the company. And what we're talking about are the rules and norms and values that a given company might have. And really, a company culture can be one of two models. You can have a very formal culture, which would have a very rigid authority level. So, like middle operational managers go right to the middle manager goes to the senior level manager. You don't ever go from operational manager to senior level manager. You just follow that ladder very rigidly. Additionally, formal cultures dictate a very strict dress code. So if you think about like Target, whenever you walk into Target, what are all of the employees at Target wearing? They all wear khaki pants and a red shirt, right? So that is a strict dress code. Target doesn't say you have to wear these khaki pants and this red shirt, but they do dictate that you have a dress code and that you wear khaki bottoms with a red shirt. Okay, so that would be an element of a formal culture. And then lastly, very regimented work hours. If you work for a culture, for a business that has a formal culture, you are going to be in the office at this time, you are going to leave the business at this time, and it will be that way basically every single day. No working from home. You're in the office, you're in a desk, or if it's a retail company, you would clock in 5 minutes before your shift and clock out 5 minutes after, and it would be that way every single day. Okay. Now, the other end of the spectrum when we talk about culture within a company is informal culture, which has a very decentralized structure. Decentralization simply means that anybody is empowered to make a decision. You don't have to be a manager to make a choice. Anything that is for the betterment of the business, you are empowered to do that. Additionally, you might have flex hours or flex options. You can work from home. You can work when you need. If you want to work from noon to 8, fine. You want to work from 4 in the morning to noon, fine. It doesn't really matter. All that really matters is that you get the work done. And then lastly, you as a member of that business have much more input and much more ability to help make decisions. I can't tell you as a teacher which one of these cultures is better. It depends on who you are and what you value. But I will tell you that the culture of the company absolutely is one of the biggest determinants of your happiness in a job. So if you go to work for a company that has a culture that you don't agree with or that doesn't fit your personality, you're going to be miserable in your job. So when we talk about interviewing later in this unit, one of the first things you need to ask that company in an interview is to describe the culture so that you've got a really good understanding of that company and their corporate culture. So let's talk a little bit now about leadership. Let's change gears here and speak a little bit about leadership, especially in the context of being a manager. So whenever you are a manager, you are a leader. Okay, those two things are go hand in hand. You do not have to be a manager to be a leader. But if you are a manager, you are a leader. And as a leader, it is your responsibility to take a company and your employees in a direction. Okay? And that direction is usually driven by the vision and the mission statement of the company, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. Okay? Now, some of the key elements of being a good leader, you have to see big picture. You have to see big picture stuff. Things like, where is the company going? What are some of the environmental factors that may be outside of our business impacting us now and in the future? You have to be able to inspire others. I will tell you, the best managers and leaders I've ever worked for are the ones that inspire me to work hard, inspire me to do my job, not the ones that just bark orders all day and tell me what to do, how to do it, when to do it. Okay. And then lastly, you need to have a really thorough understanding of the business, and you need to make sure that I talked about that subway manager earlier. To be a really effective leader and manager, your employees and the people you're leading have to know that you are able to do the job of the business. And that will help you inspire them and help you achieve those goals that the business is striving for. And then the other big thing to talk about when we talk about management and leadership is the ability of a manager and leader to delegate. Delegate means that you are giving other managers and employees the opportunity and the power to make decisions and to complete various tasks. So managers need to delegate for a lot of reasons. Number one, as a manager, you do not have the time to do everything you need to do in a day. So by doing that, it allows you to prioritize your tasks and do the most critical of things that need to get done. It allows the employees to have ownership and gives employees an opportunity to prove that they are capable and eventually maybe earn a promotion. Okay. So by delegating, you are, doing, you're helping everybody within the business. Now, as a manager, there are times that you would not delegate tasks. And those times would be things like if you are dealing with confidential information, if you're dealing with things like payroll or people's pay and salary and benefits, that information should not be made public and should be kept private. The other reason that you wouldn't want to delegate is if you are working on some sort of new project and it's not ready to be released yet. You see this a lot like in pharmaceutical drug industry. If you're working on a new drug, hopefully a vaccine for COVID-19, you wouldn't necessarily want to just start delegating all of those tasks to ensure that the integrity of that vaccine was upheld. So there are certainly reasons as a manager that you wouldn't want to delegate, but assuming those reasons aren't in play, delegation is a wonderful thing for both the managers, the leaders, and the employees. That wraps up our lecture on chapters 7 and 8, management and leadership. As always, if you need anything from Menifee and I, please don't hesitate to reach out. We are happy to help you guys in any way that we can. We hope everybody is well and feeling a little bit more settled here as we head into the third week of our remote learning opportunities. So we'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye-bye.